Goat trails. The call. Tuesday, 7:48 p.m., 25 Alpha, psych suicide, 49-year-old male. Additional notes, welfare services on scene. This is an Alpha level code 2 call, which means no lights or sirens, and we have 24 minutes to respond. It takes us about 10 minutes to find the place, and there is both a police car and some other government car on scene. We leave our gurney at the bottom of the stairs, but take the emergency bag and monitor with us, per protocol. Metro is standing on the far side of the doorway, nodding and looking at us with a smirk, which means that something fantastic and unpredictable is on the other side of it. Love this job. Dex and I round the corner, and holy shit, Batman, the entire apartment is buried 3 feet deep in empty, frozen dinner boxes. There are goat trails, though. One from the front door to the hallway and another that branches off past it. Past the little television on a 1960s TV cart on its way toward the kitchen. There is a little extra spot cleared out in front of the TV, and there is a guy in a robe sitting there eating food from a frozen dinner box. The welfare agent, heart rate 92, blood pressure 138, 88, respiratory rate 18, O2 93, blood sugar 124, was standing at the intersection where the hallway and the kitchen goat trails meet, bent at the waist, hands on her big fat hips, cackling at the guy who couldn't have cared less and never looked away from the television. The welfare lady sees us, stomps over, bends at the waist, hands on hips, and clucks that we need to transport this guy. I looked at her, looked all around, and then said, "Oh, you were clucking at me," and laughed in her face. I hate welfare services. Had Children's Protective Services at my house once. They should be closed down, and this fat welfare bitch wasn't going to tell me what to do either. Meanwhile, Goat Trails guy was watching television and couldn't have cared less that we were arguing in his doorway about his fate. Again, she, heart rate 98, blood pressure now 144, 92, respiratory rate 20, insisted on transportation, and when asked the medical reason, she said he is a danger to himself. So I said, "The guy's in a robe eating dinner. What's the danger?" And she stuttered and waved her chicken wing arms at the apartment like a giant pig version of Vanna White. So I flapped my arms, pointed at her big fat body, and said, "Look at you." Completely ignoring me, she argues that he can't stay here because look at the place. "Looks good to me," I said. "I don't transport slobs, just sick people." Ooh, she was irate. The cop was laughing, Dex was laughing, I was laughing in her face, and Goat Trails guy never took his eyes off the television. I leaned around her into the apartment and asked the guy if he wanted to go to the hospital. He knew the day, who we were, and that there was mac and cheese in his dinner box. Perfect. He was alert and oriented to the situation. He didn't want to go to the hospital, and I wasn't going to take him. She insisted on my transporting the patient, so I told her to call my supervisor. She told me to get him on the phone. So I stared at her until she realized that I wasn't going to make the call. So she asks for the number, and I told her 911. We picked up our gear, thanked Metro, and headed down the stairs. She was still clucking at me to not leave while talking to my supervisor at the same time, so she sounded super crazy. She's yelling, "Don't leave! I'm on the phone with your supervisor!" Don't leave. Don't you leave. As we drove away. Heart rate 112. Her blood pressure was now 154/94 with a respiratory rate of 24. We cleared the scene 8:54, and I never heard another thing about it. Goat trails.